Yo, gun in my dash, pray I never kill with it. Net real with it, got my eyes on the prize. Bill still do, motherfuck 9 to 5. Searching for a freak down the fuck once or twice. Wanna buy a bottle, but I ain't paid my tithes. There's no lie, got a vision and a master plan. They hit the block and blow up like the Taliban. I make it where my plane never have to land. I make it where them lanes never stand a chance. Shit, you never know on the time of tell. You see the starve or you find the scale. When you either buying or you trying to sell. You either fall or you grind the rails. They say that money make the world go round. You never lost till you lose your crown. And they don't love you till you're underground. When you hey babies, how y'all doing? Yeah, you do it all just to live the life. Erica, what's happening, pimp? How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Me too, Cheyenne. I love this whole mixtape, actually. It's a classic. Tuli, thank you, baby. Y'all make sure y'all click that thumbs up on your way in. What happened on Astro Twitter? It really wasn't like an event or nothing crazy that happened, but I wanted to debunk some of the just falsehoods that have been spewed all about. And this is something that I actually do on my Patreon, which is why, I mean, hence, this is a series. It's a never-ending thing, okay? It's a never-ending thing because every time I look up, somebody's saying some shit that's not true. And I feel, you know, with the power invested in me, that I got to speak on it. So I got a couple more of these series on Patreon. So if y'all are interested in checking those out, go ahead, join my Patreon. I'll put the information in the description box probably after this live ends. I'll put it up. I'll leave the live up and include all of my information. So even for those of y'all who are watching this video on the playback, if you're interested in having access to exclusive astrological content, all my information for my Patreon is in the description box. But as the title reads, I wanted to just really clear some shit up. And I feel myself gearing into teaching mode. I got a lot of projects up my sleeve, which allow me to detour. If you guys have not registered for the Astro block party, okay, on March 10th, make sure you do so. Go click my community tab. There is a link there. Click it, you know, so that way you have access to the Zoom link. Novi and I will be hosting it. We're going to be talking about the importance of the nodes in astrology, as well as a host of other topics. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do here, the Astro fan. When we go live, it ain't no telling what we're going to talk about, really, at the end of the night. So that's how we doing it. Bring your drink, bring your smokes, bring your whatever it is, you know, a cup of tea, and bring your ass outside. Shout out to MOB. Yes, they be giving false. There it is. Hey, Cinnamon Toast. Hey, Daniel. What's up, Southern Hood chick? Yeah, they do be giving false. They just be lying. And honestly, I think a lot of people make stuff up. I think, and what's so scary, y'all, is the fact that these are people. And tonight's video has actually been brought to you by one person. One person. I was able to go down their timeline and pick out a host of different things. I'm like, this shit is false. And these are people who are occupying teaching spaces. So to take it back to my original point, as I kind of gear up into like a teaching kind of mind, teaching mode, right? I got a lot of teaching that I will be doing before the year is over. I look at people who kind of, you know, assume these positions in astrology. And when they say things that are not true, I'm like, well, and it's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But these are people who, I mean, I'm not, like I said, this one person in particular, they're getting a lot of clout on Astro Twitter. and shout outs to them. Their star is rapidly rising, I guess, so it's not really coming from a hateration. It's not a kind of place. It's not even really me making an assessment on this person, like as a human being. They could be a perfectly nice person. But the fact that you are spewing so much misinformation about astrology is very irresponsible. It kind of does say something about your character, but whatever. It's just kind of weird, and it bothers me. It really bothers me. And so that's why I like doing these segments, so that I can take some time to set the record straight. Because for a lot of people who may not know any better, most people rely on these individuals, on these big, and this isn't really a big account, but they still rely on these accounts, right? These astrologers to give them their information. And when the information isn't true, you're not really helping nobody. Nor can I really look at you and take you seriously. So y'all thumbs up this video. I got 28 people watching, but we only got 12 likes. So let's get those likes up, and I'll go ahead and start. I went ahead and took the liberty of pulling up the tweets. I cropped the person's picture out, I think, in most of them, because it's a lot. I cropped their picture out. I try to, because I don't want to focus too much on the person. It's not a personal attack. I'm literally attacking the information that you said, like in terms of it not being true. Okay, it's the information in question that we got to pick apart. Not really the person I'm interested in picking apart. So hopefully I was able to crop that person out of all of the pictures. But if not, I mean, oh well, I guess. Yes, it discredits real. You know what, too? This person, in addition to a lot of the people who I see navigating Astro Twitter, they're very young. These are people who, we're talking Gen Zers, we're talking people in their early 20s. And I'm going to be very careful about my words here, because I'm not implying that young people can't be into astrology. In fact, that's what I love about that Pluto, Sagittarius, Gen Z generation, that they are a lot more open and forthcoming, and they embrace, occult sciences and alternative methods of spirituality. I like that. I like that shit. If, I could do it all over again, I would have gotten into astrology a lot earlier in my life. Okay. I was somewhere doing hood rat shit, making bad decisions, ruining my life when I was 20, 21. But now I look up and I see lots of 20, 21, 22, 19, 18-year-old astrologers. And I mean, that's cool and all, but a lot of the time you need time to perfect and master what it is you do. And this is myself included, which is why I never claim myself to know everything. I never claim to be the best at whatever it is I do. I would say I'm among the best, but I'm not, there's always room for improvement. I never try to come off like that, because who the fuck am I in the grand scheme of things? There are astrologers who real deal be doing this shit for 20, 30 years. So, me and my 5-6 years, like, okay. But I said that to say, I look at these 18, 19, 20-year-old astrologers, or early 20-year-old something, 20-something, early 20-something astrologers, and I wonder, how long have you really been doing this? You got to ask the question, because how much do you really know? And how much of what you know is based on what you see on Twitter, too? That's another issue, because when I was that age, Twitter was popping, but that's not how I learned the bulk of my knowledge, or the information that I've learned and the things that I've accumulated over the years in terms of astrology, right? That's not where I got that from. It wasn't Twitter. And the issue with Twitter is that, you got a bunch of people just saying shit. And so for a person who is learning astrology, who doesn't really know better, it can turn into a rabbit hole real quick when you don't really know how to parse through factual information versus misinformation. It can get really dangerous. Very, very dangerous. You bring in ginger ale and pretzels, bad. Ooh, I hope you bring some soft pretzels. I like the soft pretzels. What type of stuff are they saying? We're gonna get ready to talk about it. Let me see where we are with the likes. We're gonna see where we are with the likes. It's 34 people in the chat, 19 likes, y'all. Get those likes up and we'll start. Read their birth chart. I don't care enough to read their birth charts. I just, like I said, I want to focus on the misinformation. Thank you, Patricia. I saw one of them had, and I want to make the distinction between astrologists and astrologers. Astrologists are people who are just astrology enthusiasts. They may know a little bit. They may be willing to, check out their family and friends' birth charts or something. Astrologers are people who've actually put the time in, resources, who actually do this in a professional level. It's you assume an expert like position within your field. That's an astrologer versus an astrologist. You're interested in tarot card reading? Yeah, and every generation has their, their pluses and minuses, like I like to say, right? So it's not even really no shade to Gen Z. I know I got a huge Gen Z following. A lot of my clients are Gen Zers. I love you, babies, okay? But I got to be honest. A lot of y'all, Sagittarius is one of those signs that think they know everything anyway. So with Pluto and Sag, it's like that generation, like, especially the ones who are more into like, spirituality, the spiritualists and whatever the case may be. I'd be like, give me a fucking break, bro. Give me a break. And it's one thing to be that way and then actually be correct. That's the least that you can do. Be correct. A lot of times they be strong and wrong. Strong and wrong. Hold on, let me get my blunt. I'm finna get my blunt. So I'm gonna give y'all some time to get y'all blunts, get your drinks, get your tea. And then I'm gonna check the likes and we're gonna start. I'll start when y'all start hitting the like button. Give me a second. Which strain? Okay, so I recently went home to East St. Louis, right? Where weed is legal in the state of Illinois. Weed is legal. And so I went to this dispensary and I bought this like hybrid. I don't know the name of it, but it's a hybrid between, the indica and sativa. I normally like to stay the fuck away from sativa as somebody, Virgo moon's out there. Sativa is not really our tea because it stimulates the mind and our minds are already hyperactive. But, because it's a nice little blend, you know what I'm saying? I'm a engage. I'm going to indulge just a little bit tonight. Or maybe should I do my edibles are straight up indica. I think but I feel like smoking. So give me just a second. Hold on. And I love the packaging. I love the packaging that it comes in. It comes in such a cute little package, like the little tubes. Who's ever been to a dispensary and knows the type of little tubes that they put? Like, I got some pre-rolls. You want to try some edibles? I can see you doing edibles, Patricia. You so classy base. My mama's classy base. She's a classy base Capricorn, and that's why edibles are her tea. You just have to know, you just have to be aware of your limitations, like the dosages. Is dosages a word? I just made that shit up. I can't handle the edibles. You try to show. No, I don't want to do shrooms. Mm-mm. I'm a Cancer South though. My imagination is already hyperactive. I don't need nothing that's gonna have me hallucinating. I've been lost my mind for real. I'm scared of like breaking something in my brain and I lose my mind and I never recover. So because that's what we don't want. So let me check these likes. Y'all get those likes up. And we'll go ahead and start. What the hell's going on? Edibles be having you slump. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Villa. I didn't even see it. My apologies. Can you tell me about 2 degrees Scorpio ascendant sextiling asteroid Circe? Let me get back to you on that. I do delve into certain asteroids, but y'all know it's like a billion of them hoes. I'll get back to you on that. I'm trying to stop smoking, y'all. My lungs. Oh, yes. What you got? What you got? Some Gemini placements? 3rd house placements? You just found out you're Aries moon? I should continue my moon series. Okay, I will. Okay, I got 33 likes. Okay, boom. So here we go. So I'm going to share my screen real quick because I want y'all to see this bullshit. Just telling the story will not suffice. I will share my screen. Okay. Y'all let me know when you see it. Y'all let me know when you see it. Okay. So then now this is all from one person, mind you. Okay, I want to make that clear. But this person says, and they tweeted this today. Your 9th house tells you what grinds your gears. Pisces 9th house means you hate when people play victim. Leo 9th house hates when people brag about everything. Gemini 9th house hates when people are habitual liars or are inconsistent. Could y'all tell me what's wrong with this, class? What's wrong with this tweet? What's wrong with this tweet? Is it the 9th house, the house of traveling, philosophy? It is. It is. So the 9th house has absolutely nothing to do with what makes a person angry or annoyed, right? What grinds your gears, what makes you mad, what annoys you, what pisses you off, right? Where you just have the shortest level of patience. That has nothing to do with the 9th house. You know what the 9th house does deal with? The 9th house is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. So it could deal with, as you guys just put it, of course, travel, long-term or long distance, rather, travel. It could deal with college. It could deal with faith, spirituality. It could deal with religion. It could deal with politics. It could deal with the justice system. It could deal with a lot of shit. But I'm not understanding where you correlated that with what pisses you off or what grinds your gears. In fact, I would say if we had to equate a certain house to the, the house, I guess you could say where we have, the house where we have the, where things like could really bother you or get under your skin, right? Things that could really bother you, things that could really fuck with you. I would say, well, because I don't even know if I would equate that to any house. To be honest with you guys, when I think of what fucks with you, what grinds your gears in astrology, I think of Chiron. So looking at the conditioning of your Chiron can tell you, especially in synastry with somebody else, like if your Chiron is negatively aspecting like another person's personal planet, it can point to where like something is just like, oh, this is getting on my nerves. This is getting on my fucking nerves. But either way you want to slice it, it's not the ninth house, which is the point that I'm making. It's wrong. This is wrong. This is not right, y'all. So if you see somebody saying this shit, tell them that they're wrong. Okay? Now, the eighth house can bring about some polarizing experiences where you can, and actually, if I had to equate it, maybe I could even see the eighth house more than anything else, or at least more than the ninth, because at least the eighth house can deal with situations where you're dealing with someone, like if someone's sun falls in your eighth house, right? You're naturally going to attract the person who exudes the darker side of that energy, like somebody who is really going to like bring the worst out of you type shit. So, but the ninth house though, how the ninth? Like, explain that. That don't make sense. Okay. Next. Who you are on drugs is the fifth house, if you ask me. And the 12th house is the come down. The fifth house deals with funding games. The 12th house deals with hidden health concerns and addiction. Okay. So what's the problem with this, guys? Seventh house can deal or can show dark side of a person's attached, don't want to identify with. That's true. Traits that you project onto other people. Yeah. Wait, who's tweeting this shit? I ain't even gonna drop names because the second part was kind of right. Here's the thing. In astrology, the 12th house, I see why they said hidden health concerns, just because it opposes the 6th house. Okay. So we'll go with that. Addiction, yes, but it also it literally deals with drugs too, though. The 12th house deals with intoxicants, things that can intoxicate the mind altering substances, which is another reason why it sits directly across the 6th house. The 6th house, which is naturally ruled by Virgo. Virgo deals with the mind, right? The 5th house is the house of recreation. It's the house of, like your hobbies, your fun, as they put it, games. It could deal with your claim to fame, what you're known for, your purpose, your passion. It could deal with a lot of things. Drugs is not one of them, unless unless a person, I know you guys have heard of the phrase like somebody using drugs recreationally. So like for instance, when I see people, and of course this is not everyone, but a lot of people who have let's say like maybe Neptune in the fifth house, depending on how it's aspected, or Pisces in the fifth house. These are people who could partake in recreational drugs or alcohol, or could have vices. You know what I mean? But that's not to say the fifth house in and of itself deals with drugs. It deals with partying. So yes, with Neptune or Pisces in the fifth, you could have a person who likes to do a little, likes to get a little litty for the party. But I get what they were saying. I get what they were trying to do. But here's the issue: you can't just remix shit. Like, I get it, it's abstract, but you can't remix that. You can't do that, baby. That's not a thing. Don't do this. Y'all, this is wrong. I see where they were going for, still wrong. Now, this one is just dead fucking wrong. If you have oily skin, you probably have Libra and Pisces influence in the sixth house. Libra is the skin, Pisces is bodily fluids. That is absolutely fucking false. Libra does not rule the skin. Capricorn rules the skin. Okay, the 10th house, because it's ruled by Capricorn, that can deal with the skin. Pisces does not deal with bodily fluids, babes. Scorpio is bodily fluids and secretions. Because bodily fluids are what? Bodily fluids are waste, right? Scorpio is the sign of waste. It deals with waste, right? Byproduct, like the byproduct of our energy, the things you throw away, your waste, your body waste. That's why it deals with shit. It deals with, pee, well, like outside of the body after it's left the body. It deals with sweat. It deals with bodily fluids. I think they said Pisces because Pisces, is like, oh, water. But nah, that's not it, sweetie. This is not it. You did not understand the assignment. I got that oily skin. Gemini rules my sixth house. If you want to talk about your skin, let's talk about where Capricorn is in your chart. Or the condition. Like, I would say you would probably have what? If anything, I could kind of see maybe a water sign in the 10th house if you have oily skin, maybe. But Pisces being bodily fluids, that's not true, though. Skin is more first. That's not right. What is it? Chironic astrology. That's incorrect, too. I wouldn't say it's given to a sign or planet. Skin is more the first house. No, it's not. It's not. It's not the first house. It's not the sun. Skin is Saturn. Skin is Capricorn. Skin is the 10th house. Skin is also, or I should say Saturn is also your bones, your skeletal system. It could tell a lot about your dental. So, okay, we're going to move on because this was a little ridiculous, but there's more. Cancer rules over beverages and co-rules nutrient absorption with Capricorn. That's why if you have a 6th house, 12th house, a Cancer, you need to be wary of drinking too much or dehydration. Okay, this is not true. This is... Cancer rules beverages in the sense, I will say this part is kind of correct because Cancer deals with food and drink and nourishment, right? The way in which we nourish ourselves. Nutrient absorption, and maybe they feel this way too because Cancer rules the stomach, but Cancer is more of the abdomen part of your stomach. Virgo actually is a sign that rules your intestines. So the majority of your digestion happens where? In the intestines. So the intestines is what is important for your nutrient absorption. What the fuck does that have to do with Capricorn? Now I see the 6th house here. Okay. So that's why if you have a 6th house or 12th house in Cancer, the 6th house, because the Virgo rules the 6th house, yes, there's nutrient absorption, but not Capricorn. Exactly. Assimilation of nutrients. Thank you, Astro Shine. But the beverages part was not all the way incorrect. The beverages part was I'll give them. They get well, you don't get an A. You get like a D for effort with this particular tweet. Let's go. People don't like to talk too deeply about the 4th house, 8th house, or 12th house because they're the most emotionally vulnerable parts of your chart and where you need to face hard truths. The 4th house deals with inner work, wounds of the home. This is correct. The 8th house deals with taboos, humiliation, and loss. This is where you lost me. The 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, absolutely deals with taboos, right? Things that are hidden, forbidden, things that are underground, right? Low down, things that we can't really, people may not know enough about. But humiliation and loss are actually both attributes of the 12th house. So what this person did was confuse the different properties of the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. Okay. Loss, literally the 12th house, when you study like even like traditional astrology or even Vedic astrology, they always equate the 12th house to be the house of loss. And it's also humiliation. So that was wrong. The 12th house is your wildest fantasies, hidden struggles. I don't know about the struggles part. I'll give them wildest fantasies, hidden struggle. I guess because they put the hidden in front of it. But if you're really struggling with it, I'll give them that maybe. Kind of. I guess they get a half a point for that. But this post was not it. This tweet is the most accurate. Not quite. Not quite. They didn't quite get it. Humiliation? How? Are you saying how does the 12th house deal with humiliation? It deals with areas where we feel shame. Things that are going to make you feel outcasted. Reasons why we outcast ourselves. Oh, Sam said out of all of them. Okay, fair. Okay, we're gonna dip. The 9th house tells you, this is one of the worst ones. The 9th house tells you about your interactions with authority. Gemini, 9th house means you probably talked your way out of a parking ticket. I'm just saying because of the face. Okay. Can y'all tell me what's wrong with this one? I'm gonna wait. Shame and humiliation are the same thing, though. You can give them that one. Let me throw it in reverse. Shame and humiliation. Yeah, that's why if they would both go in the 12th house. So that's why I wouldn't give them that one. Shame nor humiliation apply to the 8th house. Both of those are 12 houses. So no, they would not get this. That would be a no. It's still a no for me, dog. So what's wrong with this one? The 9th house tells you about your interaction with authority. 9th house or Gemini in the 9th house means you probably talked your way out of a parking ticket. Thank you, Flaming Passion. That's the right, Lilith. Authority is the 10th house. Now, the reason why I'm thinking they said the 9th house, because I see a lot of people share this sentiment on Astro Twitter, because they always equate the 9th house in Sagittarius to be the guru. Oh, they love that. The guru, wisdom guru. And when I first started studying astrology, I actually kind of fell into that trap too. And it's not to say that that's completely false, right? Like, because the 9th house, I get it, spirituality, wisdom. Like, I get, like, oh, wisdom, elders, authority, like, but it don't work like that. Okay? And I actually like to look at the houses as progressions. Like, if we're equating the houses to one person and their development in life, you have the person who goes through the transformation, 8th house, who finds spiritual enlightenment, 9th house, and they become, or they have access to this higher level knowledge, right? This collective conscious kind of intuition, and then they wisen up, and then they become, they set to go on a voyage, right? Then they wisen up and actually become an authority figure once they get to the 10th house. That's how I like to do it. But either way you want to go, the 9th house is not authority. If you want to talk about a person's relationship with authority, I would say you could look at of course, the 10th house, but also you could look at the 11th and 5th. Not because those houses in and of themselves I guess you could say the 5th could kind of, especially if we're talking about like the father, kind of maybe sort of, but not really. But, people with like a lot of 5th, 11th house activity, especially when we start talking about like Leo South nodes and North nodes, can have issues with authority. You know what I mean? Or you could tell a lot about that person in their relationship with authority. But just in general, 10th house. It's the 10th house. It's the 10th house. So y'all were right. Okay. So now we move on to the next tweet. The 7th house will tell you how your ops enemies move. For instance, 7th house in Scorpio means people love to spill your secrets. Gemini in the 7th house means people will make straight up lies about you. Capricorn in the 7th house means people regularly insult your work ethic. What do y'all see wrong with this one? Right. People who don't know astrology will think this is true, but it's not. And that's unfortunate. That's really would be fucking me up. That's what fucks me up. It is very unfortunate. Chironic astrology said burn everything. The moving part. Well, I've seen some astrology work that says 6th house is enemies. I don't agree with that though. So they're correct in saying the 6th, or equating the 7th house rather, to enemies. 7th house, which is ruled by Libra, it does deal with open enemies. So they're not necessarily wrong for that. Your opponent, right? All of that is very much 7th house. Okay. I like how it's like the opponent or op, because op could also deal with opposite. The 7th house sits opposite from the first house. And it's the standoff that we have between other people and ourselves. So, yeah, they're right. They're right about that. $12 with the ops. 12 is more so hidden enemies. Or I always like to even equate it with your vices or areas where you can shoot yourself in the foot. So, okay, let me go ahead and just spell out the problem. At first, I was like, okay, the first sentence I said, okay, or the first clause, I said, okay, 7th house, ops, enemies, move. Okay. Then when they start talking examples, 7th house, Scorpio means people love to spill your secrets. That's not what that means. Scorpio on the descendant or Scorpio in the 7th house doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have enemies that spill your secrets. The concept of spilling secrets actually would be attributed to the 12th house. The 12th house deals with secrets. The 12th house, like literally, and I can see how people would equate that to kind of like Scorpio too, kind of, because once again, it's this theme of like things that are hidden. But when you start talking about exposing, right? The 12th house, yes, it's things that are kind of, secret, right? It can deal with like, things that are away, out of our view. It could deal with straight up lies, things we don't know. So even when they said Gemini would make up lies about you, I mean, I guess they could gossip about you. But anyway, the whole concept of like scandal, expose, slander, all of that is the 12th house. That's the 12th house, is my point. So somebody like in to spill your secrets, I would equate that to having maybe Pisces in the 7th. I mean, Gemini in the 7th could do that too, though. And so I even give them that Gemini in the 7th in the sense that Gemini does lie indiscriminately. Dark-sided Gemini can lie indiscriminately, I guess. But it was really the 7th house, Scorpio 7th house example that I was like, no. No. Yes, like the video. Seventh house Sag, 7th house Pisces. With Sagittarius on the 7th house, I would say that you could actually think very highly of people. The people that you think very, very highly of are the ones who are the most susceptible to being your enemy. You know what I'm saying? It could deal with where you have a lot of enemies who maybe you could even learn something from, which is where they get that old saying, you want to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. The 7th house could also deal with strategy, right? It's very strategic. Libra is very strategic. And then Pisces, like I would say, I would equate that more to, Pisces in the 7th would be more so of somebody spilling your secrets or slandering you, something like that. Okay, we're going to move on. What are some negative qualities of someone with Chiron in the 1st? Problems with the skin. These are people who could have gotten bullied. It could also produce like physical injuries. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the sign placement matters too. But especially the head and the face. It could deal with personality afflictions. Okay. He said he liked Cancer, so I lied and said I was one. Now I gotta cry every day to really sell the part. This was the only one that actually, now I'm thinking about it, wasn't by this person. And there wasn't really anything wrong with what they said. I just wanted to add to this one. And the add to would be whenever I hear and see people from Astro Twitter describe Cancer, the only trait that they use is cry. Like, oh, Cancers be crying. And it's like, yeah, them niggas be crying, but there are other things. There are other attributes that you associate with Cancer too that I feel like are overlooked. Like let's say they said, okay, he said he liked Cancer, so I lied and said I was one. Now I gotta be super clingy every day to really sell that part. That's very Cancer as well. Now I gotta whine and complain a lot. Complaining would be more Virgo, but Cancers can whine. They could be very fickle and whiny. Shit. I mean, I think the food trope. I think the food trope with Cancer is overused too. But that would have been more interesting to read though. Now I gotta fix him a plate every time I see him. Cancer deals with restaurants, so it's like, oh, maybe now we gotta go to a restaurant every time I see him. Nobody talks about how Cancers can be aggressive as fuck. Facts. My dad is a Cancer and only cried when he wanted to manipulate us. Cancers can be extremely manipulative. It's that emotional manipulation, emotional blackmail. Cancer is the sign of emotional blackmail. There you go. Moody, unpredictable emotions. That's right. They make Cancer seem so innocent. Cancer can be downright hysterical, maniacal. They represented by crabs for a reason. Right now, I gotta act like his mother. Good one, good one, good one. So this one was not entirely wrong. I'm not necessarily saying they're wrong. It was just me adding to it. Oh Jesus. Okay, so maybe the person's okay. We're gonna skip. Okay, no, we're gonna keep it. No. Should I? Okay, I didn't clip it out of this one. It is what it is. So it's no offense to this person, but like I said, I didn't clip all of them out. Your fourth house tells you what toxic trait you got from your mom. Scorpio fourth house is being suspicious or secretive. Virgo fourth house is being anxious over everything being perfect. Aries in the fourth house would be lashing out or impatient. Libra fourth house would be staying in relationships too long. This post wasn't that bad. But I will say, and this is because I'll give them credit because I do see a lot of people in a lot of books. There are a lot of things that associate the fourth house with Cancer, or of course, it's associated with Cancer. Excuse me. They'll associate the fourth house with the mother because the fourth house is Cancer. Is my point. So Cancer. Oh, it deals with the mother, but in actuality, as freaky and weird as it is, the fourth house could also be like the father though. And I always equate the 10th house with the mother. So I'll give them this, but I just wanted to spell that out. Exposed. I really ain't mean to do that. Yeah, anybody who's on my Patreon know I always crop out all of the tweets. Always. I always crop them out. So, whoever this person is no tea, no shade. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't make this a teachable moment. Okay, the second house tells you how you eat. This is true. I agree with this so far. Virgo in the second house eats very cleanly and sorts food on their plate. Aries in the second house eats too quickly. Capricorn in the second house will complain about it being too cold. Taurus in the second house will take it slow and savor each bite, of course. This is another one that wasn't the worst. This wasn't the worst tweet of theirs that I have seen. But here's where I would change things. Yes, Virgo second house. I mean, yes, but having Virgo in the second house doesn't necessarily mean you eat cleanly. I get that association because people always use that Virgo trope to mean like, cleanliness and neatness and, orderly. But the opposite, the flip side of that Virgo energy can actually be like fucking chaotic as hell. But fine, I'll let them keep that though. Capricorn in the second house, Capricorn wouldn't complain about it being too cold. And actually Virgo is more so complaining, like I just mentioned earlier. So I feel like they should have took that part and put that up under the Virgo second house. Virgo second house individuals can be very picky about what they eat. So I get that. So I would not say Capricorn in the second house will produce somebody complaining about their food being too cold. I would say Capricorn second house individuals are the types to eat the same type of food over and over again. They don't need that much variety in their diet. They can actually eat very plain, boring food like TV dinners and shit. Shit, if somebody got Capricorn in the second, they could fast. The fourth house too. Second house finances, sixth house is food. Second house it can deal with food too. Sixth house, I wouldn't necessarily say food. Sixth house is more of your diet, your diet in general. Towards second house, I do eat slow. I'm talking about taking a break and then continue. I got a Taurus best friend, and of course, she loves to eat. I love to eat. And I remember we would sit down and we would just for whatever reason, it'd be breakfast, lunch, dinner. We would cook together, and when we would cook, we would just create these feasts, and we would sit down and I would just scarf through my food. My ninth house south node. And she would just savor each and every piece. It took her so long to eat. Anyway. What about a Gemini eater? I would say Gemini eaters or people with maybe Gemini in the second. I would say those are people who could kind of pick off of their food. They could kind of graze a little bit all day. They may not even have a lot of really big, heavy meals. They could also have eyes that are bigger than their stomachs. I would say that would more so be the sixth house though, because the sixth house, or maybe even the fourth house. Mm-hmm. The fourth house, not the sixth house. I would say that would be fourth house, because the sixth house would be more your intestines, your gut. But just the phrase in general, my eyes being bigger than my stomach, that would apply to Gemini in the fourth, or maybe even the second, depending, because like I said, technically the second house can deal with food too. Second house, your eyes are huge. My second house in Taurus doesn't have to deal with food at all. I mean, it doesn't have to. You also have to look at other things in the chart, but it can deal with food. You just got to look at your Venus to maybe give you more clues about that. Like the condition of your Venus could tell you more about that too. You're a Scorpio. You lick the bowl. You lick the bowl clean. 11th house describes how you friend zone people. Jim. Ooh. And ooh. Hold on. Let me go back. Okay. Here we go. The 11th house describes how you friend zone people. Gemini in the 11th house will change the subject to distract you. Libra in the 11th house will never be able to tell you like them. Taurus in the 11th house will flat out reject you. Aquarius in the 11th house will go on rants about really valuing their friendship. Y'all tell me what's wrong with this. Actually, you know what? This is one of the ones I'm actually going to let them have. Even though I don't personally agree with the Aquarius in the 11th house. Actually, you know what? I do, because the 11th house deals with the friendships. You know what? We're going to go ahead and let this person have this. I'm going to let them have it. Okay. Change the subject. Even though if I could change anything, I would say Gemini in the 11th would more so be indicative of like a person who gives you mixed signals. So you could find yourself in the friend zone based on like, a person that you're dealing with that could switch up on you. You switching up or having, casual relationships with friends. So you be one way 1 minute with them and another way the next. But overall, I'll give them this tweet. I'll give them the tweet. Now, this one was dead motherfucking wrong. This is another one where you were strong and wrong, sweetie. The 9th house describes your experience on planes. Aries in the 9th means you want to get on and out the plane immediately. Scorpio 9th house means you're always this close to missing your flight. Sagittarius 9th house means you're always flying somewhere impulsively. 9th house or Pisces in the 9th house sleeps through the flight. Here's my problem with this. Well, I'm going to let y'all tell me first. What's the problem with this? What is the problem with this? What's the problem with this? What's the problem with this tweet, guys? Okay. So ain't nobody answering, so I'm going to say it. The 9th house deals with travel, so this is why I feel like I know, like, this is where I think that person was coming from. However, air, like the concept of air travel, literally like planes, aircraft, is more so the 11th house. Okay, Aquarius rules aircraft. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Kobe Bryant die because he got into that car? I said car. He got into that plane crash, right? And last year, it was Aquarius season. It was in February. So I see what they were doing. So it's the exact opposite. The first part was the only part that was incorrect. The other ones, I'll give them now. Because, Aries immediately, okay, you want to get up and go? Okay. Like, okay, fine. I'll let them have the rest of that. But the ninth house does not deal with no damn planes. But I'm eating candy. So this is the last one. This is the last one. See, the tweets would be more accurate if she would take houses out of it. I'm an Aries, and she's right about that part. I mean, the houses, especially as it pertains to this, the houses do have their importance. It's just whenever she uses the houses, or whenever, they use the houses, a lot of times they be confusing one house with the other. And that'd be kind of weird. And normally I wouldn't make that big deal of it, but this person likes to teach. They be teaching people. So I just feel like if you're going to teach people, you have to know what you're teaching. That's all. I know it's on Twitter, they be having prototypes of the signs right, just the houses wrong. Uh-oh, you can't hear nothing. I don't know why you can't hear nothing. Can y'all hear me now? Oops. Okay. Okay, you can hear. Okay, bet. And nigga said, "Oh, never mind." What the fuck are you talking about? That nigga on that loud for real. You got that loud pack. He started smoking and said, "Huh? What the sound go? I can't hear nothing. What the hell going on? What the fuck you got over there, son?" Okay, so I'm trying to see. I was gonna do. Y'all want to go over Soldier Boy chart? It's real random, but I was thinking about the verses, and y'all know it's been a lot happening because he went to jail at one point, and then he kind of left the scene. You know, right? He hasn't really been that active in the media for the past few years until recently. Until like what? He did that interview with the Breakfast Club. that went viral. Drake said, tell me what's really going on. Drizzy, what's happening? He said that one time, and Big Soulja ain't let him forget it. He ain't let him live it down. Hi, Virginia. Could you message me? Because I have to see what, because I might have emailed you. Could you email me, sweetie? And I'll get to you tonight with an update. Which reminds me, I am almost done. I got I didn't came down to my last few readings. So this I'm gonna finish off this week so we can wrap those up. Wrapping them up. He needs to stop with the drugs. He held his maid hostage. I thought that was, I remember, okay, so I remember there being a report about somebody saying something. Somebody saying something about like him. I know he used to beat Nia up. We saw that on the reality show they did, right? But I know there was another woman who came out and said that. Ain't it really weird how like hip hop is one of the only genres or just like modes of entertainment where these men could be straight up like abusers, bro, and people will not bat an eyelash. And like I get you want to separate the music from the the artists, but you got people who will like argue like such and such ain't do that, but you don't know what such and such did. Y'all don't even know you be dealing with friends, boyfriends, girlfriends who you don't even know like that. How you gonna speak and vouch for what a fucking celebrity who don't even know you exist is capable of? I think Soulja Boy is a genius as well. Musically, I'm gonna always go up for Soulja Boy because he represents a part of my life. Very, Cancer South Note. He represents a part of my life that is very like it's just nostalgic, right? I remember when he had that. What was it? How did the Soulja Girl song go? Well, not the one that you gotta snap like this to be a soldier girl. It was one before that. I remember back when he was like back when he was making those little simple little beats that back when YouTube first, emerged. People was like, because Crank That didn't even really come out till like maybe like high school for me. But we was listening to Soulja Boy back in middle school. What was it? Am I tripping? Yes. I remember being little and I used to get my hair done because my mom actually has a friend who lives out in Riverdale. And it's like the south side of Atlanta, basically. And I remember we would be like riding all like, because I would be riding with her. She had older kids. So I'd be riding in the car with her kids and we'd be like all up and down, like all through their neighborhood with the windows down, blasting Shootout. Hey, why me do a shoot? Why me do a shoot? Shootout. Hey, Shootout. Hey. Don't get me started, y'all. Those were the good old days. Slouch socks, jersey dresses, kinky twists. I had me some mean old kinky twists or micros. You can't tell me nothing but the micros ate my hair out. I ain't even gonna lie, my edges. But the kinky twist, it was the kinky twist for me. My favorite outfit was like my kinky twist with my blue jeans, like it's like a skirt, and I had like this little like A-Town. It's like them shirts with the A. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like it was really big for everybody to wear like the A-Town shirts, A-Town hats, especially if you in Atlanta or if you went to school in like the Metro Atlanta area. Like we all had like, it was like the little, well, it was, I think it was blue, light blue A-Town shirt with my dog tag, my slouch socks, and my Reeboks. Hey, let me do it. You can't tell me I wasn't a bad bitch. Like, I was like, yes, I'm killing them. Like, what the, who said what? Who said what about what? And who did what with who? And don't let me get my drawstring ponytail with a ribbon on top. It's over for you bitches. I'm just letting you know. The girls, I mean, damn. The huge ass t-shirts with the big shorts. The shades. It was the shades for me. The Fabo shades, yes. A do-rag. It's the nostalgia for me. Trendsetter, we'll talk about what his chart makes him a trendsetter. Let me pull it up. I was like, but what? Calm down, you a bad bitch. Nah, for real. So yes, I be like this way. Listen, you couldn't tell me I wasn't bad. Those are your days too. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all was there. Y'all, we like this around the same age. You just had to live it. You had to live it in order to truly embrace the magic. But hold on, let me pull up Soldier's chart. Give me a second, y'all. Hold up, wait a minute, wind me up. It was a Soldier Girl song though. I'm trying to. I'm not tripping, y'all. And it's not the Snap Like This to Be a Soldier Girl. It was another Soldier Girl song. Like it was another Soldier Girl song. Yeah, I like because he did a lot of collabs too. Y'all remember that song? It's like you make me delirious when I'm starting to fall. Something serious. I'm falling when you look in my heart. You make me delirious. That used to be my shit. And Soulja Boy had a feature on it. I'm like, that nigga was. And that's another thing. That's another reason why he's so crazy. Like, I would still consider him a child star, kind of. Even though he was like a teenager, I would still put him in the category of a child star. And y'all know them child stars be having a really hard time transitioning, especially when you're so young, getting so much money, being so young, getting so much money. Marriage, nah. When Soulja Boy was in marriage boot camp, he embarrassed himself. And it's not that I thought he was like innocent or nothing beforehand, but so okay. Soulja Boy was born July 28th, 1990 at or in Chicago, Illinois. We don't know the time of birth, so we're gonna forego his house placements. But what we can deduce is that his son is at the 5th degree of Leo. Okay, so he is a Leo. So Big Soulja is a Leo. He's a Leo son, and he actually happens to have his son conjoined to his is it conjoined? Yep, it's conjoined to his south node at the 7th degree. And do I have, because I actually had to I wrote some shit down so I wouldn't forget nothing. Hold on, give me a second. Maybe I should have pulled that up first. But I will say this. It absolutely deals with a lot of his behavior. Okay, Soulja Boy is a hot attention-seeking mess. And I know there's a lot of people with that sun conjoined to that Leo South Node, they could be very desperate for attention, desperate for recognition, desperate. Because you know who else has that same configuration? Akbar. And every time I'm looking up, she crying, or not really crying, but every time you look up, she kind of be on some weird stuff, like begging celebrities to fuck with her. At first, it was kind of cute, but every time you look up, she writing a paragraph or a celebrity. You know, it's almost like she's begging to be fucked with. Oh my God, did my notes delete? Okay, no, they didn't. So his Leo sun conjoined to his Leo South Node, he could deal with him having natural star power. Okay. Where he does, I mean, I'm not gonna deny him his tens. Soulja Boy has natural star power. A lot of Leo South Nodes could be very popular in early childhood, which he was. Like I said, him being a child star, so this could be representative of him being a child star, him blowing up as a kid, right? He was a teenager. This could deal with him being childish, hence his name being Soulja Boy. Boy, it's giving very boy energy where he's very childish. And children throw temper tantrums, which when I watched him on Marriage Boot Camp, I saw that he did a lot of. So he could throw lots of and you even look at how he moves in the media. It's another reason why he's ultra competitive, right? The sun, as well as that Leo energy, breeds hyper competitiveness. Where he's like, I'm the first one, right? He's always worried about his recognition, being properly recognized. A lot of Leo South Nodes are very sensitive about that. A lot of them feel like they don't get the recognition that they deserve, and a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't, because in this lifetime, that's not actually who they're put here to be. He is funny though, not gonna lie. But also it could deal with him having that win-lose kind of mentality, where he's once again like a child, like when you listen to him talk, I'm the first one to Big Soulja, the first one to say hello. Big Soulja, the first one to have a girlfriend. Big Soulja, the first one to brush his teeth in the morning. Don't nobody brush their teeth like Big Soulja. I got the first toothbrush, the electric toothbrush. That was me. These niggas is just copy. Like, it's like you're 5. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, nigga? You 30, bro. Get over yourself. A lot of times, these are people who can be very just ego-driven. He is just ego-driven, narcissistic, full of themselves, arrogant. This is also reinforced with his Mercury at the 29th degree of Leo. Okay? This could deal with people not knowing what he's going to do or say next, where he is resorting to doing things and saying and just being really outlandish and dramatic. You know, Leo is the sign of drama. That's why they are natural actors. So he's very performative. Even the whole gangster thing, I think it's very performative. Big Soulja, Big Draco, I got 50,000 Draco. Y'all remember the infamous, and I would play it, but I know Vlad, lame ass, gonna flag it. But the infamous video of Soulja Boy reenacting a scene where somebody broke into his house or something. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And he was like, I said, fuck. I looked around the corner and I said, blah, blah, blah. He said, fuck. And I pulled the mask off. And I said, damn, I knew that nigga. Like the way he told the story, you was like, one of the friends were like, y'all, you could be somewhere and y'all go through the same thing, and then you hear them tell the story after the fact in your head, you be like, that's not how it went. That's not how it, like, I'm not saying that he made the whole thing up, but it's like, that's the part of what made it so funny. Like, this nigga it sounded like an action movie. Like, you really just sat up here and did the most. And with his Mercury at that 29th degree of Leo forming a sesame square to his Neptune, that could deal with him being a liar, though, but more so from the standpoint of like him exaggerating. You like just like taking like something and just gassing that shit up, or like just completely distorting the details altogether. Well, this nigga could be like, a lot of the shit he talked be funny money. This shit kind of funny money, my boy. Like, damn, where he just going above and beyond. Like, he said, I grabbed the Draco and I said, fa, fa, fa. I run after them niggas. We start shooting again. Fa, 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 fa. I laid him over. I said, fuck. I was like, why does it sound like Boys in the Hood? I want to play it so bad. That nigga was really out here like telling a whole story, like, and I don't feel like that shit was fabricated like a mug. It had to be. That nigga made himself seem like Rambo or some motherfucking body. Like, all right. Yeah, then I was like, pow, pow. He came back and I went again. You be doing that to entertain your peers? Well, yeah, that's the aspect that deals with him being so extra like that, right? So once again, this is all like for attention. It's for attention. Extra drama field, right? Yeah. So and you could look at that Mercury forming a sesqui square to his Neptune as him playing a role. Once again, doing or saying things to get attention. Where in his mind, he may even think he like, I don't know, like living out some type of movie or some shit. Where his life actually may be a movie. In his mind, Mercury at the 29th degree is not really a balanced, stable person mentally anyway. So that nigga, he kind of off. It could also even deal with him being on them drugs too. So that also don't help. He got some problems. He looked like a dope head. Y'all seen him lately? He's only 30, guys. He's only 30, and his face he got the Chris Brown thing going on. Face sunken in. But once again, these niggas have been famous, millionaires since childhood, literally, like as teenagers. So, there's that. Okay, so also his Mercury at the 29th degree of Leo can make him, like I said, very childish, very, very childish, also very insecure, even jealous. You know what I'm saying? Now, with him being a 5th degree sun, that could deal with him talking a lot too. Also, this Leo South Node, his sun conjoined to his South Node, deals with bad investments, especially with Mercury at the 29th degree. And y'all remember there was a point in time where he was selling like phone cases, phone covers. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Maybe even video games, but having his Mercury forming a sesqui square to that Neptune could do it where he might talk more of a game than he's able to like deliver. Or like I question a lot of the things that come out of his mouth. Put it like that. Let's see what else. He also has that Leo energy could also make him very jealous, possessive, violent, intimidating. It could do it where he has a lot of karma involving love and romance, which he does. Because this could also deal with him reaching out to a childhood love, especially with that Mercury at the 29th degree. which he has. I think he's with some girl that he said that he's been with for a while. But also, it could just deal with where he has lots of women, lots of female friends, where he's always reaching out to people. Now, here's the part that I thought was interesting too, with his Mercury sextile square to Neptune, right? Mercury can deal with your assistance. That 29th degree can deal with domestic issues and disputes, right? Disputes within the home. So, like, and you know, in sextile square to Neptune, like where, you know, somebody could hold someone hostage. Ain't that what y'all said he did to his assistant or somebody? I thought that was interesting, where he could, you know, be holding somebody against their will, or where like he reacted like very irrationally. And like I said, a lot of his irrational behavior is triggered, is drug and or alcohol fueled. It is. He has a lot of issues involving women though too, just because of that. His Jupiter at the 25th degree of Cancer, conjoined to Chiron, right? Very dysfunctional relationship with women. He's also a Libra moon. So even despite that, he can't get enough of the ladies. He can't leave them alone. But yeah, with his moon square in Jupiter, he's just, it's almost like he would even act like a bitch, or like he's like a hard person to deal with, that with Sun or Moon squaring Jupiter and contra parallel to his Chiron. It's like, you know, it could definitely make him a womanizer, where he can embody a lot of female traits himself, you know. He also has his Sun squaring his Taurus Mars. That also deals with him always being so obsessed with credit, you know, where he likes to, you know, you could look at Taurus as like where you want to earn your credit. You know what I'm saying? So with the square in his Leo Sun, that's another reason why he's so quick to try to distinguish himself from others. But it really could point, because it's a square, it points to where he feels like he's not getting enough of it. And it's going to be a continuous theme throughout the course of his life. And it ties back to this theme of like inadequacy, where he is overcompensating. And this lifetime Soldier Boy is supposed to be, you can look at that Aquarius North Node as him being a trendsetter. So in certain ways, I feel like he kind of has lived up to his North Node, between being like a trendsetter, utilizing the internet, right? He was the first dude to go viral on the internet. So absolutely, that Aquarius energy, that social media following, all of that shit, right? But yeah, and I mean, in his lifetime, I mean, he could even be like a social media, like an influencer, you know, getting into, I think he's into the tech business. That's very Aquarius North Node. But, you know, in this lifetime, he's supposed to do more work that supports others. You know, he needs to be more of a team player. He needs to pour into, even not even really just pouring into others, like, you know, helping others out. Even in terms of like maybe putting other people on, sharing your spotlight, stuff like that. He needs to get he needs to get outside of himself for a minute. You humped your homeboy. What? My man got Venus at the 10th degree of Cancer as well. That could even deal with him being kind of colorist. But that's something else he probably got in common with Chris Brown. That's also why him and Chris Brown could be so close too, though. Especially if Chris Brown's Mars is conjoined to his Venus. But his Venus is opposing Neptune. That could deal with him having abandonment issues with women, starting with the mother, or where he could be secretly sneaking around with a lot of women. That right there is another aspect that can deal with somebody holding somebody against their will too, though. Him holding women against their will. I don't like that. Then he also has Venus opposing Uranus. That could also deal with where he doesn't have much respect for women, where he can be very cold, rude, disrespectful, where he can objectify women. So I'm like, that's not good. Also reinforced with his Venus in contraparallel to Saturn, where you just, it's like, fuck that person. You just ain't got respect for him. And a lot of it could deal with the lack of love he received from his own mama. You see what I'm saying? With his moon squaring Jupiter, I don't know if she, because I know he moved a lot. Because hence him being born in Chicago, then he moved to Mississippi, then he moved to Atlanta. So I don't know if he moved and was separated from her. But he also clearly has abandonment issues too, with that Venus in opposition to Neptune. So, not sure what's going on here. Soulja Boy don't even look like he's packing. I don't know, because even though he has his Mars and Taurus, and y'all know how I feel about Mars and Taurus, it is opposing his Pluto, which I feel like could potentially enlarge in his genitals. Maybe. His maid accused him of locking her up and using her as his Venus in opposition to Neptune could deal with where he views women as like playthings, like inanimate objects. Even with that Venus in opposition to Uranus, like I said, objectifying. But that Venus in opposition to Neptune is like literally like you want a woman to be your fantasy, like a little perfect little doll, like a little blow up doll. Or where he could want women to reenact, like he could have like a whole bunch of kinks, like porn kinks and fetishes. He doesn't know how to be intimate with women. He could scam somebody with Venus in opposition to Neptune, possibly. Not always, but possibly. But he also know how to get a bag because his Venus is sextile in his Mars. I wasn't surprised. That's why he's so obsessed with like, oh, Soulja Boy, I got my own food. You know, he partnering with food companies. You could look at that as him having them Lay's chips. He's like, yeah, big soldier. I'm the first big soldier with the. I got the new chips. Like, okay, soldier, you got the chips. Go ahead with the chips, baby. I wouldn't be surprised if he got into real estate with that sextile either. Oh, I also meant to say too, his moon squaring his Jupiter like that, especially even with the being contraparallel to his Chiron, that could deal with him exaggerating when he tells stories. These people, Jupiter and Cancer in general, could be amazing storytellers, but with it being conjoined to Chiron, it's like there could be something kind of off about it. So when you square it to his moon, like once again, these are people where it's like half of what the nigga said might not even be true. Like this is a person who they just have a really vivid imagination. They just exaggerating. Let me see. I'm gonna read the comments, y'all. I'm sorry, but the gas. I don't feel bad for hating this man child. Freak, just get a goddamn sex doll, right? But Mars is debilitated in Taurus, so I don't think so. What you mean? But if it's aspected in a way, like if it's aspected in certain ways, it could still override that. Just because a planet is debilitated in a certain sign doesn't mean it can't have certain favorable outcomes, especially if it's aspected in a positive way. I feel like Mars trining Pluto would be like a grower, not a shower. I have that aspect. This is true. I love telling stories. We didn't need to know astrology to know Orlando Brown is one hell of a storyteller. Wow. I'm talking about, because Lila said she wanted to see Soldier Boy's chart. I mean, she said she wanted to see Orlando's chart. See, I'm getting them niggas confused because they both got issues. Suge Knight. Okay. Let's see. No, okay, well, yeah, we'll look at Suge Knight real quick. Actually, I want to do a video on Suge. That's the only reason. I want to do a video on Suge. Now, y'all know what I thought was kind of interesting too, though? I thought it was interesting because I was looking at this video on Tink and how Tink, she's an artist from Chicago. Basically, I mean, she can sing, she can rap, she can dance. She's a triple threat. And she ended up signing to Timbaland. And basically, the deal was really left because Timbaland, I mean, kind of fucked her over. You know, they didn't really mesh creatively, and she realized that she was a stand-in for Aaliyah. She was talking about how obsessed he was with Aaliyah and trying to get her to be the second Aaliyah, and she wasn't trying to do that. But one thing that made me raise my eyebrow, it was a couple of things. So Timbaland in the past has admitted to having a crush on Leah. Mind you, when he and Aaliyah worked together, she was 16 years old, okay? And he was talking about how he was in love with her, but he felt weird because he couldn't say it because she was so young and this and that. And that was very disturbing because, you know, for obvious reasons, right? He was a grown man at the time and Aaliyah was 16. And he went and married a wife who he felt like looked like Aaliyah. And, you know, he's had this very, you know, weird, open fascination, obsession with Aaliyah. And on a certain level, maybe I get it because he actually knew her in real life and she was his friend. But, you know, when he started letting on to him being like sexually and romantically interested in her, it made me kind of raise my eyebrow. Because Aaliyah is a Pisces South Node, or she was. And his sun would technically be conjoined to her South Node, which would explain why their relationship was so karmic, past life relationship, why they made beautiful music together. But it could also deal with there could be certain secrets between them two. And I'm not gonna, God rest her soul, I don't know. I mean, just think about it, because there were so many things we did not know about Aaliyah. You know, even with the R. Kelly thing, people knew, but like, it wasn't until Surviving R. Kelly that people really, really were faced with the gravity of like, damn, Aaliyah was just out here being victimized, which is very Pisces South Node. And with Timbaland's son on her South Node like that, I'm wondering, because, you know, it just deal with, there was some sneaky stuff going on. And for him to be in love with her, I'm not saying it would have been better had he said something else, but I just thought it was very interesting that he used that verbiage. Like, oh, I was in love with her. Why were you in love with her? Unless ... And even if they were just friends, right? He gives me like the sneaky type. You know, that's very Pisces, where you try to sneak and weasel your way in. Like, it's things that make you go, Things that make you go, So to bring it back around, ain't that creepy? Aaliyah came in my sleep. That's also very Pisces sun, when his sun conjoins to her South Node, like where he's dreaming, and she could have made, I don't know, where he could just be dreaming of her, or where she could have him so delusional, like he's, creating all these fantasies of her, and all, like where he just finds her to be so like magical, like. Yes, she was a secretive person. Yep. Especially, and so that's another reason why I said that. Like, well, Aaliyah being as secretive as she was, and his son on her South Node, I'm wondering, I don't know, because it was also alleged she was out there dating Jay-Z. Now I don't know if she was legally of age, but we it's not lost upon me that Jay-Z has also been linked to very young girls, barely women. But I'm gonna shut the fuck up, because this is not YouTube content. But there is. I'm gonna just shut up. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna shut up. Well, we ain't even gonna get up. Forget I even said that. Okay. Hey, what am I talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just what does MLB say? A rumor with no regard. A rumor with absolutely no regard. But yeah. So with that, I just was like, I was wondering. And so he got with Tink or whatever in terms of like, connecting with her musically. He signed her, and Tink was talking about, or the documentary that I saw on her was seeing how they spent all of this time together. That he drove her around in his Maybach, and they were going. I mean, and once again, it was just. It put me in a mindset, and Tink is a Pisces too. It put me in a mindset where I was wondering, like, what if he was using that Aaliyah thing to get next to her? What if especially the fact that he was like, oh my God, she made me feel a certain way about music that I didn't know I could feel after Aaliyah. Like, it is like where he is projecting and fantasizing about someone else and projecting it onto her. But like, also, I'm wondering, like, I don't know, y'all. Timbaland gives me Creep vibes, is what I'm saying. I put it on Patreon. Oh, dang. I'm sorry, Thule. You gotta protect all kids, but I feel like Pisces, South Node kids, and just people in general it's because they can be they're very impressionable. They can just be very gullible, They're people who you really gotta like look after, not in terms of them being stupid or anything, but I mean, some of them could be handicapped. Some can just be kind of a little slow, or just people where they're just very open. They're very open. They're very just open people. So even if they're not slow, they can be bright people. It doesn't mean you're slow if something bad happens to you, but it's just that they need they just need to be looked after a little bit more. You need to pay a bit closer attention. Let's see. So Timbaland was born March 10, 1972 in Norfolk, Virginia. That number 10 can deal with children. That's all I'm saying. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And he's a Leo South Node. With that Aquarius North Node. Then he got his Venus at the 4th degree. That number 4 deals with perversion, squaring his North Node. Where he could. Then he got Venus squaring at that Leo South Node. So once again, like in younger women, and where he can use his music, right? Like where he's, because all that Taurus energy deals with him being a producer, specifically Venus and Taurus. So it's like where he's this genius, especially with that on the more positive end. The number 4 can deal with where he's just very ingenuitive, I guess you could say. So can that Aquarius North Node too, where he's just very ingenuitive and, you know, he's so futuristic, where he just has the mind of like a brilliant genius, like a musical mastermind. But I don't like how that Venus is squaring his nose though, because it could just deal with where sometimes he can, like, it could be a front, like, or where I don't like that. I don't like that. It could also deal with him having money problems too, like funny money. Especially with his Venus conjoined to Mars like that. He probably spent a lot of money. And, you know, where he trying to be flashy, you know, where he tries to impress women with his money. And what he got. It sounded like when he was picked Tink up in the car and they ride around and well, he is show off. Then he got Moon squaring Uranus. That Capricorn moon, a lot of Capricorn moon and Venus men could also, even though Capricorn does deal with like dating older people, it could sometimes, especially in a man's chart, have the opposite effect. It could deal with where he likes to deal with people or women who are younger than him because he can kind of control them. It's a control thing. And the fact that it's squaring their Uranus and Libra is not good either, which because he may actually be a dick. Kind of inconsiderate in relationships. Excuse me. So let me read the comments. She was physically affectionate with everyone around her. My big sister is a Pisces North Node. She's mentally disabled. I have to look after her. Like a big sister. That's sweet of you. Yes, hit the like button. Sinistry with him and Misty. Okay, I can put that one on Patreon. When I was 8, I was in love with her. I was in love with Michael. Somebody said, was that you, Patricia, who said you want to know if Missy Elliott is on the LGBTQ? Girl, you know Missy Elliott be out here munching the crunch. Crunch and munch. Is it worth that? Let me work. Yeah, I put my thing down. It's the you know, she be out here the carpet munching. I could tell you that. She be tearing her some coochie up. Oh, yes, I heard the girls call CPS on Summer Walker. Well, that's not funny. Let me start out by saying that. Because as a mother myself, I don't play that shit. Unless you just for sure, I done seen some shit that is undeniable. Like that child is their fucking safety. They are in immediate danger. Like I see some foul shit. Like, wow, like I have some real serious concerns over something that I've actually seen or witnessed. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's when CPS should be called. Because let's be very clear, just throwing children in the foster care system ain't no fix all either, because that's where most of the abusers are at. Okay? Do y'all watch Ayanna Van Zandt? People talking about they doing it for the child. I don't know if you've like, there are like a lot of foster children who have horrific experiences in foster care. So that's not necessarily the answer. But Summer, and I actually wanted to work with Summer, but I doubt she'll ever work with me because of the videos I've done on her, and that's fine. I've accepted this quite a bit. I still like her. Her music. I like her music. I think Summer, and I don't have anything personal against Summer, but Summer Walker is one of those people. And I had to realize she is an Aries sun and South Node. She thinks she's hard-headed. She's just hard-headed. She's hard-headed. These are people who could just have one track minds, right? Just one track minds. It just is what it is. You can't tell her nothing. Very headstrong. And sometimes it creates blind spots. And then she looks crazy, you know? Like even with the Whole Foods thing, like I get it. And I actually like it. I admired it. Like, okay, she's committed to eating healthy and this and that and the third. And she even went vegan, and that's your business. She has a baby. And although I have heard of women raising their children vegan, when we talk about babies, right? Babies who fresh out the womb, there is a need, like babies need milk, right? Milk is their primary source of nutrients, whether it be breast milk, preferably breast milk, whether it be formula, whether it be goat's milk. I heard goat's milk was a good alternative. Shout outs to Seren Sensei. I was in her live stream. They was talking about goat milk. I ain't know that. And so, yeah, but Summer Walker is out here making flaxseed smoothies. Either she's doing this on purpose, or once again, with her being such an impulsive person, that Aries Sun and South Node, she hops online, she hops on whatever, and she says something, and then people judge her over it, and then she gets mad. And it's like, why are you mad? Because you said it. But whatever. I saw flaxseed, I saw peanut butter, I saw honey. Most of these things of which babies are not supposed to even be consuming anyway, because it could be detrimental to their health. It's just, I don't know, guys. I was like Summer, and then when they saw the baby, that baby's legs was so little. That baby's legs was itty bitty, and me, I like chunky babies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you and Summer got the same birthday? It's just like, girl, like, and she's one of those people who you could tell, like, they read like one book. She got her Venus in Gemini, so she probably loves a good book, right? She'll collect some books now. So she probably, read some books and was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna start using this, and like ran with it. Or like watch like one documentary on Netflix or something, or on YouTube. And like now all of a sudden it's almost like she acts like she's the only enlightened one. Like it's kind of weird where she's just saying some deep shit, but a lot of the shit she be like preaching about some of it either really don't make sense or be half baked, or so she'll be like, you never really know or understand what it's like to evolve and to ascend and want to do better for yourself and to extend that grace to nature and the universe. Most people don't know. So that's why I keep to myself, because my energy is too expansive to do. I'm like, all right, girl. All right. Well, yeah. Anyway. Okay. Her child is like 2 months. Not you burned 2 bags of popcorn, Sam. So, yeah. I'm tired. I'm actually getting real sleepy. So I'm finna lay my head on my pillow. Lay my head on my pillow. Lay down, lay down, lay down, now lay down. So I thank you guys for coming out tonight. I will keep this live up. And yeah, you guys have a good night. Talk to you soon.